Hello everyone, it's Melanie with Vintage Hill Studio. So glad you could drop in today. We're going to be making a cute Halloween card with 3 ghosts. Start with, I'm using Echo Park Bewitched paper pack. This is adorable papers with stickers. So cute. We're going to start by focusing on that middle section there with the spider webs that says Happy Halloween. I'll cut that out with my scissors and then I'll trim it down to make a mat that's 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches to fit on my card base, which is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch white card. I'll also be using the Spellbinder Small Die of the Month from September 2019. I'm going to be using these cute little ghost dies. I'll be cutting out 3 ghosts, and the dies actually come with arms and legs and other little cute things you can use, but I'm just going to simply be using the ghost body. So here you go. Cute little guy right there, ready to go. 1 of 3. I'll next move on to the jack-o'-lanterns. Y'all, these dies are so cute. They cut so precisely. You can't go wrong with Spellbinder's dies. So I will start with this little checkered pattern here. This will cut out the jack-o'-lantern itself. It cuts out the eyes, nose, and mouth, and a little handle. I'll remove that. I'll use my little pick here to remove my paper. And look how cute these are. They are so adorable. You see the detail there of the Spellbinder's dies? So to coordinate with that, I'll be cutting out a couple of additional jack-o'-lanterns in just a solid cardstock. Kind of mix it up a little bit. And I don't know if you can see this, but this has some veining in the face of these little bitty jack-o'-lanterns. It may be too hard to see, but the detail of these dies is just fantastic. So there's our little solid jack-o'-lantern. And because I'm putting these on some a black mat here, it automatically fills in the eyes for my ghosts and my jack-o'-lanterns. So right here I'm just kind of figuring out my design. I'm not adhering anything right now. I just want to lay it out and see where things might go. And I like to work in odd numbers, so I have 3 ghosts and I'll be working with 5 little jack-o'-lanterns, just to keep the numbers odd. Alright, looks like they're going to all fit in there and kind of fill up my card across the width, which is exactly what I want to do, but I want to make sure that I still see the spider webs at the top of my mat. So I don't want to cover those up with ghosts. Now for any jack-o'-lanterns that may overlap the ghost, I can just back those with a little bit of black cardstock. And there you go. I've got them adhered, and I actually popped up the middle ghost and the jack-o'-lantern that's second from left with a little bit of foam tape for dimension. So the front of our card is looking pretty good. The last detail I want to add to the front of my card is a Wink of Stella clear glitter. Now this comes on like a water brush, except it's filled with this clear glitter. And I'm just lightly going around the spider webs. Not every little detail. I just want a little shimmer and shine on my spider webs, kind of like you would find in nature. So you don't have to go to a lot of trouble with this. Because it's clear, it's going to blend in with that matte background, but it will leave a little bit of a shiny glitter. That's it. So I'm about finished up here with this, and you would normally let this dry. With the magic of editing, I did let it dry, and I'm going to turn on my flashlight here so you can see the glittery sheen that you get on your cards. Again, that's the Wink of Stella clear glitter. Alright, next I'll move on to the inside of my card, and there is adorable sentiment that says Eek-a. Cute little play on words. I'm going to use some black cardstock and run that through my Sizzix Big Shot. It will take my die right on through there. This cuts out individual letters so you can play around with the letters, put them across straight, put them across crookedy. I like to put them in a little bit crooked. I think that gives it a bit of character for a Halloween card. And I thought it looked better on that gold cardstock. So here is just a little ring binder, a D-ring that I have full of tags that I've embossed so that I have a sample of what my embossing folders would look like when you run the paper through there. And because I have, OCD issues, I label everything on the back. They're in alphabetical order, and it coordinates with my actual folders. So that as I'm looking through here, if I can't remember the exact name of the folder, I just take a look at the back label and then pull my folder, which also has a label by that same name. So I'm liking all these, but I tend to keep going back to these stars. And I think that'd be adorable for that gold cardstock, especially for a Halloween card. So here I use my Sizzix Texture Boutique, and I'll put my cardstock in the embossing folder, create a little sandwich here with my folder, and that is by Paper Studio. And then I'll add the shims under it and the top plate, and then you just crank that right through the Texture Boutique. You can use any of your machines for embossing. As long as the instructions say that it can do embossing, you just use different platforms. But I just always reach for my Texture Boutique for these little folders. Okay, and there is our little star piece of paper for inside our card. I hope you can see that. Gives a lot of character and texture. And then when I add my Eek-a letters, I think they really stand out a lot better than they did on just the plain white inside of the card. So I'll get those adhered down, and that's what it looks like. I kept my letters askew just on purpose because I thought it was a lot more fun that way. So there's the front of our card, the inside, and a little jack-o'-lantern in the right-hand corner. And then, of course, on the back, I always stamp it with my personal Vintage Hill Studio stamp. And that's it for a little Halloween card. Now, of course, to finish it off, I always like to move forward and line my envelopes. If you're going to do this much work on your cards, you might as well finish strong. So here's a quick little tutorial on how to do that. I'm working with a pre-made envelope that's 5 3/4 inches wide by 7 1/4 inches tall, all the way up to the open flap. And then I choose a piece of lightweight coordinating paper, whatever you think looks best. I just cut it down by 1/4 of an inch in the width and 1/4 of an inch in the height from my pre-made envelope. Slip that in, making sure I have the same space on each side. Then I simply turn it around, fold the flap over using the existing crease line, take a pencil, lightly mark the outline of your flap. Then you're going to remove your paper, fold it in half, but don't crease it here. Just line up your corners at the top and the bottom. Take a look at your pencil line, and you're going to cut on the inside of your pencil line. What this does is it allows the glue on the flap to be visible so that your envelope can be adhered shut when you're ready to mail the card. So then you simply take your liner, reinsert it all the way to the bottom of your envelope, line it up so that it's centered with your flap. Then I just use a scrap piece of paper. I'll fold that liner paper over, and I only give it 2 swipes with the adhesive, only on the edges, because you don't want to glue down into your envelope or it won't move as easily when you open and close the flap. So again, you just do the 2 top edges there with adhesive. Make sure it's centered, and look at that. Easy peasy envelope liner. Why wouldn't you try it? It's a nice finishing touch to your cards. There you go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to make this Halloween card and coordinating envelope liner. Thank you for joining me today. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos. You can also visit me at www.vintagehillstudio.com. Happy crafting!